Specks of red I see behind me. ArcelorMittal down 1.6, Aspen down 1.2, Exxaro a loss of 3.4, but their Goldfields up 2.4, Anglo American gaining 1.3, and Naspers a gain of 1.5%. Sanlam also in negative territory today. Let's start off by taking a look at the overall performance today. Over 12 billion rand passing through the market. Futures close out tomorrow.
Yeah, obviously nice volumes coming through. I think it's it's ongoing story around the sentiment around Europe and the States in particular. When will it come to an end? Hopefully sometime soon. You see the US might be, or Europe rather, might be bailed out by the Chinese, or they're looking at it, the BRICS economies. It's all sentiment driven at the moment. It'll be nice to get back to fundamentals. We see that the market's not too expensive at the moment in our view. It's nice to see a big update like we did today.
Well, not too expensive, but would you say that a lot of risk is being priced in at this stage and that there is still fear of possible default?
There is definite fear, and there's definite fear surrounding going into this recession again, double dip, as we've spoken about for the last 6 months to a year. So there definitely is risk out there. But it's times like these when others are being fearful, that's when you want to be,
so
be greedy.
You're feeling very optimistic, I see.
So we're fairly optimistic at the moment. We think the market's fairly attractive at these levels.
MMI out with results today and looking pretty strong. We know that the likes of Momentum Investments not looking too fantastic at this stage. What is your sense, and are you feeling that we're starting to see the synergies between the merger?
We hold Metropolitan long before, we've held it for a few years, long before the merger. We were a bit apprehensive about it, if I can say that. I don't think there's anything such as a merger. There's generally an acquirer and acquiree, and I think in this case, Momentum were definitely the acquirer. They talk of synergies. I noticed that they said I think it was about 500 million rand over the next 3 years. I think that's very ambitious. The obvious synergies that can come into the fore here are from the healthcare businesses. If you can get Momentum's healthcare business down onto Metropolitan's cost base, there's probably about 100 million rand according to our calculations in synergies there. Where the other
so not 500 million.
Where the other 400 are going to come from, it's very interesting to.
But Andrew, initially they guided between 500 million rand and 750 million rand.
You know what? And they're still on a PE of 13 at the moment. Now, if you take that 500 million and apply it to 13, you're looking at 7 to 8 billion on top of the current 25 billion market cap. That's substantial. We hope it comes to the fore. We do still hold the company, so it will be fantastic to see. We just think at the moment that might be a little bit ambitious, but we're holding thumbs.
Okay, well, let's touch on Sasfin as well. We had actually a bit of corporate activity in today's session, and mostly coming through from the companies within the financial space. We also had First Rand out yesterday, and RMB Holdings came out a short while ago as well. What is your sense with regards to the numbers? Anything that stuck out for you?
Nothing in particular. We've held Sasfin for a while, and I think the results were quite disappointing. Last year they had a tough set of results, and they're embarking on this growth strategy that we haven't seen come through yet. They carry on talking about in these results. It was nice to see their business banking segment stand up. That now accounts for about 70% of their earnings. But it was in the other areas or the other activities that hurt them. There were low volumes that went through there. It's still well capitalized, so it's still a good business, and we still like it. We still hold it. First Rand's results yesterday, they were very pleasing. I think those were a great set of results. Nice to be able to get your head around them for once without having to try and work out outsurance and Momentum. So I think those were a great set of results. RMB's results I haven't had a chance to look at. They obviously came out late this afternoon.
They did indeed.
But
First Rand is up 1.65% today, so a market perhaps taking it in its stride. Village also out with results, and it's quite an interesting company, relatively small at this stage, but it's also got some platinum aspirations. And the costs are looking pretty good. Yes, production slightly down, but is it a company that you would even consider looking at this stage?
At the moment, we don't really look at it. It's too small. It's obviously just bought the Simmers assets, so it's not something that we are looking at all. So I can't comment too much on it. But the gold companies in general, as you know, they're very difficult to get your head around as a value manager. The gold price is obviously helping all of them. We saw Pan-African results out a few days ago, which were quite good results, helped by the gold price. But in general, gold is not a sector that we're looking at the moment.
Well, let's take a look at where you are finding value at this point. And what are you doing with your construction plays? I know that is a sector that you've gotten in quite relatively soon. We're starting to see some activity, and of course, evidence in the quarterly bulletin that was released yesterday. Are you starting to feel more optimistic about that
I think
investment?
so. We've seen quite a few of them report their results recently over the last month or so. And yes, we were very early, but I think over the next 2 or 18 months, rather should I say. We're going to see some sort of recovery coming through there. So I think now's a good time. We definitely won't be getting out at these levels. So yeah, we're holding on there. Yeah.
And I see Richmond actually top of the top 40, up around almost 6%. It was up over 6% a little earlier. Any particular reason that we're starting to see quite a bit of buying coming through in Richmond? Of course, it has been rallying on the back of this Asian growth story for some time.
I think that as well, Richmond's, they've come off very sharply over the last couple of months, and I see that Investec today upped their recommendation on it to a buy. I think that might have helped a bit. Also, it's obviously a Swiss company with the talk of Europe and the BRICS coming in to bail them out. I think that's also buoyed it on a bit. But other than that, I can't see haven't seen any news coming out that's making a
And Andrew,
difference.
let's also just quickly touch on where you think the JSE is going to end it this year. Would you say above 30,000, below 30,000? Do you think we're going to be flat for the year? Because that's where we're headed right now.
I think from these levels, I think I mean, this is guesswork now. You can't forecast. Everyone knows that. But I think we'll be happy to see it end somewhere in between 30 and 32,000, probably around the 31,000 mark. So